Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Connor, and today I'm going to go over what I learned from having a $4,000 shirt. Let's go right into it. So believe it or not, that picture that I just showed you right now, that was a $4,000 shirt. And a lot of people, during the time where I was selling clothes, I sold clothes for a few years. I made a decent amount of money off of it. I was in high school, and I was making a few $1,000s a month just off of that. And the people that would see me wear the clothes, they would look at me like, "You spent that much on clothes? You drive like a Hyundai? You spent that much on clothes? Like, that's ridiculous," and everything like that. But to be honest, you guys are losing more money on your school lunch than I am on these clothes. I was making like 20% profits off of these clothes. So I remember I got that for like $3,500, and I sold it for $4,000. And to me, that was a really good amount of money at the time. But to a lot of people that I would show it, they'd be like, "Oh, how much did you pay for that shirt?" Because they knew that I was wearing expensive clothes at the time. I was wearing like Supreme, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, V-Lone, whatever was hot and whatever I knew I could sell fast. And people were like, "Damn, that guy's balling. That guy spends all that money on clothes." But to be honest, at the time, I really wasn't balling in my eyes. I didn't have a crazy amount of money. And all the money I did have did go into my clothes. And so those clothes that I was wearing, I was making a lot of money off of. And I would always put them into those clothes. So whenever I would make that profit off of it, I wouldn't go out and buy something fancy to keep. I would reinvest that money into clothes. And so the point of me telling you this right now is that a lot of people look at these purchases that are expensive for assets as risky or not worth it, but you guys really don't realize the devaluation in whatever purchase that you're making when it comes to food or beverages or just whatever you use to entertain yourselves or to feed yourself. And all these clothes were literally paying for all those things that I just talked about. They were paying for it. I was profiting off of them. I was paying for all my stuff. My mom didn't really have to give me money anymore at all, to be honest, because I was wearing these clothes, and even she had that feeling. She was saying how, "Oh, if you can spend that much money on clothes, I'm not going to help you at all." And this was like 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And so I want you guys to really change your whole mindset on purchases. Like, you could put $50,000 into the right car and not lose any money on it, and have people look at you like, "Oh, that was stupid. That guy's just spent all that money on those clothes. He's not gonna be able to pay rent and whatever." And instead of looking at like that, look at it as, "Oh shit, I just leased a car and I'm gonna lose like $500 a month just off of that lease, money that I'm not gonna get back." But that guy right there, he's gonna spend that money on a car, and 2 years after enjoying it and driving it around, other than the money that he pays for insurance and like whatever else comes with a car, maintenance and gas, he's not going to lose any money. And all those things that I just mentioned right there, they're things that you're going to have to pay for no matter what car you drive. And so what I'm trying to encourage you to do is whatever makes you happy and whatever you like doing, once you start to make some money in whatever you're doing, put it into things that are going to help your performance. When I was buying clothes, I remember my first purchase was a $70 Supreme shirt. It was like a long sleeve. It was white. It said Supreme across the chest. And I remember right when I got that, I was scared to wear it. I didn't wear it. I actually left the tag on. It was brand new. Yeah, I know I didn't mention it, but that $4,000 shirt that I just mentioned, it was not new. It had been worn a bunch of times. It literally had cracking in the text, and people still paid that money for it because that's its value in the market. So back to the $70 purchase that I made of that Supreme long sleeve. I had that shirt, I was scared to wear it, and I had these intentions of wearing it and feeling like cool and feeling like, "Hey, I dress more expensive than you." But I ended up going like, "Damn, like, who am I trying to impress with this? Like, if someone's impressed by this, I don't really care to impress them." And so I put that shirt back up on what used to be Grailed. I'm not sure if that's what it's still called or if that's still around. I'm really not into this kind of stuff anymore. But the first day that I had it up, I sold it for $110 or $120. And so I made $40 off that purchase. And then that's when I really got introduced to all this stuff. And I started thinking like, wow, I can make a decent amount of money off of this kind of stuff. Because that was so easy. I listed it for free, sold it. All the shipping and fees were taken care of by Grailed. And so that's when I realized, like, damn, that wasn't a dumb purchase. I can make money off of that. And then when I made that 120, I reinvested into something that I believe I sold it for like 200. So I put 120 into it, I sold it for 200. I just kept building and building and building until I believe the most that I had was, I believe I was close to like $8,000 worth of clothes. $8,000 worth of clothes, and I was just building and building and building. And it was taking so much time away from me, but I was making a good amount of money for where I was at. I was in the middle of high school, and I was also able to wear those kind of clothes. So it's kind of like the same thing as a car. You're able to use the car, but it's not devaluating the way that people might expect. The people that aren't educated on the market or what things are really worth, and they don't realize that they're losing way more money on the food and drinks that they're getting during the month and the going out and the impressing people through that kind of stuff by like treating your friends and stuff than they are by wearing these clothes and selling them for more. And it even got to the point where I really, really got good at this stuff. I was buying clothes for way less than anyone else. And I was actually buying them and then I was selling them to my friends and helping them out, because even though I was selling them for more than I paid, I was still making a profit off of it. I was still getting paid for my time. And these guys and my friends who I was selling them to, they were getting them for a good price too, because I was getting them way below market. And no, these were not fakes. No, they're completely real. I remember my account used to be sup.ca, sup.ca, and you can check like the referrals and everything like that. We have real verified people that have left referrals for us because they've had such a good experience. And a lot of our stuff that was designer or more expensive, we would get it authenticity checked. We would take it to the store, the Gucci store. We have one about like 45 minutes away, the Louis Vuitton store, in Fashion Islands actually. And the Supreme stuff, we would really go to the experts because Supreme was really hot at the time. I believe it's still hot now, but there were people that you would have to pay like $20-$30 to authenticate it, but they were so credible. And these were people that actually worked with Supreme. So we were really knowing like this stuff is legit, and we would always get it checked. And every single time we'd make a purchase, which was mostly from Grailed or Instagram, we would always ask for extra pictures so we could send them to those people that were checking the authenticity. So I was buying them, I was selling them for market value to people that I didn't know, and lower the market value to the people that I did know. And I was profiting, I was making money, and I was able to wear that expensive stuff. And at the time, people that didn't really understand my business, they would look at me and go, damn, this kid, like his mom's buying him those expensive clothes, his mom's doing this, his dad's doing that, his family's probably super rich and stuff. But at the time, my family wasn't as well off as they are now. My family's doing all right. But there were some financial struggles. My mom owns a business, so there were times where it wasn't going as good as it could have been. But the point of me saying that is my parents were really not this kind of people that were just going to hand me whatever. Ever since I was 17-ish, I was having to pay for all my insurance. I bought my own car in cash. And all these clothes, my mom literally did not put a penny. And I even told her that at the beginning. I told her, she offered a couple times toward the beginning when I was like 14, 15-ish. She'd say like, oh, I'll pay for shipping. And my mom was very supportive. My mom's probably gonna end up watching this, so I love you. And if it wasn't for, and I would always tell her like, I don't want you to put a penny in this, because I was more worried then than I am now of the way that people looked at me. So I would think of it as, if I can tell people honestly and confidently that my mom didn't put a penny into this, then I'd feel better about myself. Maybe I'd be more credible to other people on how my parents don't just hand me everything. So I would, like I just said, I would buy it for lower than market, way lower than market. I'd be able to sell them to my friends for lower than market. I'd be able to sell them to strangers for market value. I would be able to wear them. And people really started to understand my business towards the end, and they would understand that I was making money off of this. I was able to wear the clothes. And it was honestly like the life back then. I didn't have as many expenses as I did now. So that money that I was getting, it was enough for me to treat myself. Even if I wanted to go out every day, I could. If I wanted to pay for my friends sometimes, I could, and I was confident in that. And literally, if I ever had a problem where I needed to pull out some money, I had some stock right in my closet where I could sell one shirt for, on average, I would say my shirts were about $500. I believe the $4,000 shirt was one of the most expensive ones that I ever owned. And for anyone that's questioning what it is, so they can do their research and really and clarify that it was $4,000, you can look up Mowax. Mowax, M-O space W-A-X. And that was a very limited edition shirt that I believe only got released in one mall, and it was a surprise for Supreme. And I actually had the rarest size. So for most Supreme shirts, I used to be a really, really big Supreme nerd. The rarest size is small, and then the second rarest is extra large, and then usually medium, large, and large are about the same. And so I had the extra large. And when I did my research and I was really talking to people that were more into Supreme than me, and the people that would authenticate it, they would say, wow, you have like the rarest size, or if you end up buying this, you're gonna have the rarest size. And so that's when I knew, like, okay, 3,500. I had some money in the bank. I had sold a few clothes. I had sold a few tees and a few jackets. And so I had like $5,000-ish, I believe, at the time in my account. And so I ended up making that purchase. And actually part of it was a trade too. So part of the clothes that I was getting rid of, I traded to that person, and then I paid the rest in cash. And then I had the shirt, I sold it like right away. I really, really wish I would have taken a picture in it, but I was scared as fuck to wear it, to be quite honest with you. So the point of this is, once you start to get something going in your business, once you start to understand what you're doing, and like you have some money coming in, don't be like those guys that spend it all on like stupid shit. Like there's a time and a place to buy a car, and there's like a quote, I believe it's from Jay-Z, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. So all these people that are like leasing these cars where they can't afford the lease. I'm not totally against leasing. I know a lot of very successful people that lease, including like Grant Cardone and stuff. I know that's someone that a lot of you guys know. So there's a time and a place. Really look at your finances. But let's say, for example, you're selling something and you have a big close where you just made $3,000. It's very important to reward yourself. That's one of my biggest tips to not getting burnt out. Reward yourself. If you buy a better camera if you're trying to be a YouTuber, or you're trying to do, if you're trying to teach a course, have a high quality camera, because that's something where you can enjoy it and you're also going to make a lot of money off of it. If you're into clothes and you really, really care about buying clothes, do your research and find expensive clothes that you can just sell for the same price or make a profit off of it. And if you are making a lot of money and you care a lot about what people think, and you care a lot about like having this Gucci hoodie that you know you're gonna lose a bunch of money on, because you're gonna buy it brand new and you're gonna sell it and it's gonna lose like 70% of its value in those 2 times that you wear it, then by all means, reward yourself. Just buy where your pockets are at. Make sure you can buy it twice. Make sure you're gonna be able to pay for all the other stuff that you want. But it's very, very important to reward yourself and be in a business where you can really upgrade it when you're starting to make money. So for example, with me with digital marketing, when I make money, I'm able to, I bought a desk, I bought a chair, I bought a new computer. I really need to get a camera. I really need to get a new camera. I know that's one of my biggest things, and that's probably gonna be my next purchase. But I'm able to upgrade that, and it really improves my performance and like the quality. And so that increases the money that I make as well. Because when it's higher quality, people have like more trust in you, and you're gonna be more stable because you're gonna be more organized in a way. When you have all these wires all over the place, when you have a bunch of stuff that you don't use, like it just turns into a mess. And it's very, very important to have a good work environment. And what's even more important than that is having more time for yourself. So what would have been smarter is, when I was selling clothes back then, instead of just selling them myself, I would teach people that I would sell them to, or just whoever, how to sell them, and I would just be the one to find it. Because I felt like that was what I was best at. I was always good at finding the really good deals. I believe I only lost money on 1 or 2 shirts. 1 or 2 shirts. And I believe the most I lost was $50. And the most I made was between $1,000 and $2,000. And so if I would have found people to replace that work of selling it, then it could have been a lot more efficient and I could be paying them, and that could be my way of treating myself and upgrading, because I'm saving a lot of time, and that time I can reinvest into something else. So like I was saying with digital marketing, when I start to make more money, a lot of the money that I make, I just reinvest into ads. A lot of my ads are just for new clients. So I get this client, for example, I get this client right here. I do a good job with them. They're happy with my service. They're happy with their experience and everything. They give me a couple referrals. I get clients from them. Then I'm able to use the money from him and his new clients, just a portion of it. I always encourage treating myself, I encourage it to others, and it's very important to not get burnt out. But a percentage of that money, I reinvest into my ads to get even more clients. So it's like a little explosion. That's why you see, honestly, I have a strong belief that that is what separates like the middle class people with like the really wealthy people. Because if you look at like the charts of the poorest to the richest, it's like this, it goes up, and then it just shoots towards the end. Like the top 1% is way, way richer than the top like 98%. I mean, the top 1% is way higher than the top 2%. If that makes sense. It's way higher. And that's, the key is knowing how to reinvest, knowing how to put your money into assets, knowing how to really grow your money instead of just making it, treating yourself, and then not thinking long term. So hopefully you got some value out of this video. What I really want you to take away is find something scalable. That's a very important trait in any business. You need to make sure before you start it that it's scalable. When you get money from that business and stuff starts to get rolling, make sure you keep the momentum going. Make sure you're putting it into stuff that's going to grow in value. And also make sure to treat yourself so you don't get burnt out. And make sure you're thinking short term. Make sure you're thinking long term and definitely not short term. So when you do that, you're going to reinvest better. You're going to do a lot of stuff better that's going to make you richer, because you're not always going to see results right away. It's going to take time. And so that's what's going to separate you from the poor to the rich. And that's how you're going to kind of change your paradigm when you're looking at people's expensive purchases. Always think about how much money they're losing. It's just like having your own business. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much you're keeping.